Israel. But we know, like Chazal teach us, tzadikim b'motam kruyim chayim. Righteous people, even when they pass away, they're still alive. Their heritage, their actions, what they stand for, their ideals, their great actions stand before us. They become a light so that we can walk, go in the path of these tzaddikim. So there's no contradiction that it's Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah, when we are talking about really her passing away at the ripe old age of 127 years. 127 years. How old is Yitzchak Avinu, according to our knowledge? When we learn later on, when he's married, and then when Rivka can have 3 years, can have children, we learn later he'll be 40 years old in the Torah. So therefore we will subtract how many years? 3 years. So according to our understanding, Yitzchak is 37 years. Hey, who's a good gematria player here?
37 is Ramadan.
Look, the first word of the parsha has how much in gematria?
6, 10, 16,
18,
30 how much? 37. Coincidence, correct? Of course a coincidence. No, it's no coincidence. Vayihiyu in gematria is 37. Okay? Pinchas, each letter stands for a different number. Vav is 6, Yud 10, Hey 5, Yud Vav is another 16. Meaning, her life was really a life, the last 37 years. Why?
Because I heard they say when she heard about the Akedah,
I'm asking a question. Why are these 37 last years of her life Chayim? Vayiyu. These 37 are Chayei Sarah because she's a mother of a child, Yitzchak, for 37 years old. Until then, we should never know the agony, the pain of a woman who is barren that cannot have a child. Okay? And that's why his name is Tzchok, Yitzchak. There was so much laughter of happiness when he was born. This righteous woman that's been living and praying and moaning and crying and tearing to have a child. Finally, she has a child. And therefore the nature, the essence of this child is Tzchok, happiness. Everyone is so happy that she has a child. My dear friends, we're not going to mention right now the midrash that Micha wanted to mention, that she dies in the wake, in the approach of the Akedah, that her heart failed when she heard that Avram was taking. It could be, is what midrash were saying. We don't know. But right now, she died, a ripe old age, and her years are great, as Chazal bring and Rashi brings, why the word Shana is mentioned 3 times. Shana, Shanim, Shnei Chayei Sarah. Now, we don't know why she died, and we're not going to do a, what is that called? An autopsy here. However, she dies. Where does she die? Pasuk Bet, Vatamot Sarah b'kiryat arba Hebron be'eretz Canaan, vayavo Avram lispot l'Sarah v'lifkota. They're living in Hebron. If they're living in Hebron, we may ask the question, Avram, vayavo Avram. If they're living in Hebron, Avram is there, isn't he? Well, it states in our Torah, vayavo, meaning he's not there, and he has to come. He gets a phone call that she died. Chazal do say that after the Akedah, he went to his business. No, not in stocks and bonds. He wasn't a mathematician teaching in Canaanite local university. Avram Avinu had a motel. He had an eshel, as it states in the end of the last week's parsha. Vayita eshel b've'er shava. How is the noun eshel spelled? And right today we know it in hotel or hosting matters. Eshel is an acronym for achila, shtiya, and lina, eating, drinking, and lodging. Right? What's there? Achila, shtiya, and lina, lodging. Avram Avinu, the Midrash explains, either built a pardes in Beersheba, planted. I'm sorry, it says vayita, lintoa, to plant. Either he planted an orchard and he can provide fruits to his guests, or he built a motel. Why is Avram interested in the hospitality business? What? What do you mean by converting? I'm very suspicious of blonde-headed young men from Europe talking about conversion. What do you mean by this matter?
He wants to have souls, like.
What do you mean, souls? I'm a little suspicious, maybe more suspicious of you. You sound like an astronaut.
He wants to have Jewish souls.
What do you mean? There's no Jews in the world yet, sir. I'm tough on you, Eitan. I'm not going to make it easy, even if you have a nice smile. What does it mean?
Bring people close to monotheism.
Bring people closer to believing in one God, and leaving out all this idolatry and cruel behavior and so on and so forth. That's what Eitan meant. I'm just helping him. I'm a friend of his. Now, what, sir? The first Machon, he opened up a Machon Meir for any person in the world to believe in one God. Therefore, he would lodge them, give them food and drink, and teach them that there's a God. And he's worthy of our dignity, worthy of our honor, worthy of our actions and behavior. That's what Avram Avinu did. He was the number one Kiruv, even greater than Billy Graham.
Wow.
It's before your time, man. You never heard of him, probably. Okay, so you're not. Okay, gentlemen, Avram Avinu, after the Akedah, the Ramban brings it, went to Beersheba to take care of that business. And then he gets word that his wife passed away. Beersheba Chevron is a straight road. Some of you that have traveled to Kiryat Arba Chevron, God willing, I hope to be there this coming Shabbat. If I would go straight after Chevron, go through the southern Chevron mountains, it goes down, down, down into Beersheba. What is it, about 30 kilometers, I would assume? I don't know. Is it about 30 kilometers? Someone's going to put on Waze in a second and find about 30 kilometers? Thank you. If you have a horse or a donkey, could you get there one day? 30 kilometers?
One day,
Maybe one day, if not the beginning of the second day. Avram Avinu arrives for what purpose according to the Torah? Give me the two purposes. Lispod is number one. Velifkota number two. Look at the last three words of the pasuk. And who can raise his hand and say, I have two questions?
First question is why.
Wait, so you have two questions?
Yeah.
Okay, Thomas, go ahead.
First question is why the kaf in the Lichubota?
Lama kaf ze'ira. Why is there a small kaf velifkota? Question number two.
Why is written Lispo Velibota? This more in weep is almost the same verb, right?
The order. Very nice. Did you learn this last year?
I think so.
With who? So you can say it's not fair, David, but the fact of the fact. Do you remember the answer? Do you have your own chumash to write in with a pencil like some of them do? You should have. Everyone should have a good chumash. You can write and add in. And of course, have a notebook and write notes. Lispod, lisara, velifkota. Let's deal with his second question. First, the order. Hesped is a eulogy, to tell the praise of the beloved that passed away. And lifkot is to cry. Why doesn't Avram cry first? Why doesn't he cry first? And then deliver a eulogy, yes?
If you try to, and says first, if you cry first and you don't bury the dead, then you're not doing honor to the dead.
But there's nothing to prevent or to delay the burial. You can do both.
No,
Cry
Sarah.
and
Okay, second answer then
yeah.
would be that the spelling is like really sport is like a public thing and crying is a private thing.
But that could be. But a great woman like Sarah to cry for is also a public thing. She's such a great. She's the mother of Klal Yisrael. What do you want to add?
It might be like eulogizing before the burial and.
Usually, let's say they're both before the burial.
Oh.
Why wouldn't the mourner, Avram Avinu, who lost his wife, shouldn't he cry first and then eulogize and then do the burial? What do you want to say?
If he wants to first be happy and show everything to Hashem.
To be happy.
He has a munah that.
He's
And
accepting the din of
And
Hashem.
then,
Maybe when you speak about the person, you remind yourself more, so you start crying.
Okay. Maybe.
Or the
My dear friend, yes?
Or the crying is the time of mourning that you do after the burial.
There is 3 days of crying the Talmud talks about. But let me ask you a question. Is the passing away of a young person the same thing, the passing away of an older person? What's different?
Yes, the younger one had more. People always think like, hey, he's too young. He's got rid of life too fast.
So the tragedy is greater, isn't it? The loss is greater when someone young, God forbid, passes away. When the Beit HaMikdash passes away, there was a lot of crying. We were very sorry. When an older person who lived a ripe old age passes away, the crying is secondary. The eulogizing, telling the great attributes about the person, is primary. That's what the Netziv of Volozhin explains. She lived a ripe old age. No one is taking her by shock. We're not living after the Mabul. We're no longer living in 800 years. We're living 120 whatever years. The time, the duration of life has been decreased. Remember, we learned that. So she lived a ripe old age. It's not tragic. It's not sudden. It's not something that we're surprised about. Therefore, lifkota is a small kaf. The bechi was actually short and not long. That's what the Balaturim. You've heard of the Balaturim, Rabbeinu Yaakov Balaturim, the father of the Rosh. He explains the small kaf, that they cried less than usual because of this ripe old age, and even the eulogy was delivered first. Yes, sir?
and like I forgot which part she didn't say before that. Now the oldest age is 120.
The life of age is of 120. That's right.
And she-
Moshe Rabbeinu lives a life of 120 years.
And so she lives 127.
That's great. She got a bonus.
So it doesn't stop at 120?
No, it can go more. She was a great tzaddiket. The average, the usual age is until 120 years, and she got a bonus. She got a bonus. What? Moshe Rabbeinu lived 120 full years.
That's not that's in Parshat Noach, he says
Right.
that pasuk that says, I think it's what you're referencing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they can live a few years more than
Oh,
that.
they can?
That's not. Yeah.
There's like so many generations before.
My dear friends, Avram has arrived from Beersheba. He delivers a eulogy. He cries a little. And now the burial must be taken place. And Avram has a problem. What problem does he have?
And a place for burying.
He doesn't have a place to bury. Now, there are local cemeteries that can find. That's not a problem. However, Avram wants to do something very special. And that is, he wants a permanent place. As we see in his speech to the local Canaanites called the Chitim, Pasuk Gimel, Vayakom Avram me'al pnei meto. Until now, he was in front of Sarah, who's passed away, eulogizing, giving a sermon, telling about her greatness, her righteousness, and he cried a little. Now he gets up. Vayidaber al bnei chet. He speaks to the people here in the town. They're called bnei chet lemor. And he says something which seems to be contradictory. Ger v'toshav anochi imachem. Excuse me? Ger or toshav? Coffee or tea? You can't have both. Ger usually teaches us that you are I'm a stranger. I come from a foreign land. I'm not a local man. But he says, toshav. I'm a settler. I'm a resident. I'm a permanent member. Ger v'toshav is one and it's opposite. We're asking a question. What does Avram mean? Is he a politician that he double talks? He talks in one way that can be understood in two different ways? Question. But I'm imachem, I'm with you. I mean, we've been living here for years in Hebron. I wasn't born here. She wasn't born here. But we've been here for a period of years. I don't know, some 12 years, some of the Mefarshim say. Tenuli achuzat kever imachem. He's asking, and he uses the word give me. And we don't know what it means. Tenuli achuzat kever imachem, does he mean sell me? Or give me a matana, a gift? Ve'ekbara meiti milfana, but he's asking for an achuzah. Not any local cemetery plot. I want an achuzah. That it'll be mine forever. That's what he's asking for, a permanent place of a kever forever. Gentlemen, let's already, so we call it spill the beans? Let's spill the beans. There's a tradition from generation to generation that's not written in the Torah. It's called, or it's part of the oral Torah, Torah Shebal Peh. Avram knows something that the local townspeople do not know. And that there's a particular place that he is about to speak up that he's interested in. Because he knows that that place is, wow, a sacred place. A place that the Zohar says. No one heard that, right? You heard it?
Yeah, I heard it.
I was afraid you're not. It's a place that the Zohar says is the entrance to Gan Eden. He knows about it. This is the Petach to Gan Eden. And that Adam and his wife Chava are buried in that burial place, in that cave for burial. People don't know about it, but Avram does know about it. And therefore he's asking, I got to find a way. Gee, on the one hand, God told me, on the one hand, I'm a newcomer to the land. I arrived a few decades ago with my wife. We were not born here. On the other hand, God promised me several times this land is going to be mine. Hey, Canaanites, give it to me. Would Avram say such a thing? 1 second, let's see in this corner weighing to what? How many people are Avram? Just he and his family, a few hundred people. The local townspeople and Canaanite nations, how many are they? Thousands, I would assume tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. We don't know the exact number. Could he go to them and say, give it to me, it's mine?
Cool.
What would they tell him? Take a walk. Give me a nice expression in Hebrew. Lech mipo. Ruch min hon. Ruch min hon. Ata meshuga. Or in Yiddish, di bist meshugede. Okay? No, I don't know if they speak Yiddish. Okay? You know, in Kennedy Airport and also in Mea Shearim, a lot of the non-Jews or Arabs working there know very good Yiddish from their practice of working with the Hasidic Jews in Mea Shearim. They know very good Yiddish. So too the people at Kennedy Airport, for all the people traveling to Israel, they know Yiddish as well. That's how they get good tips. In any event, what will Ger v'Toshav mean? When we read the Rashi, the famous Rashi says, please see Pasuk 4, Ger v'Toshav anochi imachem. Ger me'eretz acheret v'niyashavti imachem. Rashi reconciles the two that can be together, meaning one after the other. I'm a foreigner, but I've now settled with you. And then Rashi brings the Midrash Haggadah. Im tirtzu, if you guys accept it, hareini ger, I'm a foreigner. V'im lav, and if you don't accept it, meaning if you don't give it to me what I want, yet toshav, I'll be like a settler. V'etlenem in I'll take it legally. I'll take it by law, because God promised me, and so on and so forth. We have a problem understanding this Midrash Haggadah. You think? My father-in-law asked that Avram Avinu went to the pound towns and said, it belongs to me. It doesn't, it's hard to say that that's what he said to him. And therefore, we're going to leave this question at the moment unanswered. And let's go on and see, what does he do? He asked for a chuzat kever. He wants something permanent in verse 4. Pasuk 5, Vayanu v'nechetet Avram ne'mor lo. Their response, the townspeople, and they say the following. Shema'enu Adoni. Wow. One guy's talking on behalf of everyone. Shema'enu. Nu is us. Listen to us. And they call Avram Avinu Adoni, my master. The one speaking to him personally feels, wow, I want to call you my master, my Adon. Nesi Elohim ata b'tochenu. Pshh. You're a divine prince. You're famous. You're special amongst us. B'mivchar kvareinu, whatever you choose, kvoret meitecha. If you want to take any family plot that belongs to any one of us of the Chitim, these Canaanites, no one's going to take it away from you. Wow. You're famous. Avram Avinu has been living in the land from Shechem to Beitel, from Beitel to Beersheba and to Hebron and Mitzrayim and Gerar and all these places. He's been living here and he's made an impact on society. He's famous for being worthy, righteous, just, full of justness, rightfulness, charitable, kind, praying on behalf of others. He's won wars. He's famous. You, take what you want. You want his birth, his Machon Meir, take it. What are you taking my things for? You want his Machon Meir, take his. Take anyone when you want to take. Wow. They understood. Tenu, give it to me as a matana. And now they're offering as a matana. Do you understand? Tenu. But let's see if is that what Avram meant. Pasuk Zayin, Vayakom Avram vayishtachu li'amar tzivnechei. Wow. This is what we call strategy. Avram Avinu, in front of the townspeople, he bows down to them. Not once. Look again in Pasuk Yud Bet. Again in Pasuk 12. He bows down a second time. He is submitting himself. He is acting with humility. And now he says strongly. Pasuk Chet, Vayidaber. Dibor is strong speech. Vayidaber itam lemor. Im yeshet nafshechem. If you really desire, if you really agree, likbor et meitim milefanai, that I bury my dead in front of you. Shimoni, listen to me now. Ufiguli befram ben Sochar. Avram Avinu knows who is the VIP, who is the mayor, who is the most influential person in the town of Hebron. He knows. He's been living there for a time. I want you. You're the press secretary. Someone, any one of you? You want? Please make a meeting. I want to meet up with Ephron. Why? Because he is important. He's wealthy. He's important. He's an influential person. Pasuk Tet. Again, he uses the word v'yiten li. And give me. But now he's clear. I want something specific. Tailor-made. I have something that I'm interested in. I'm looking for a cave. At what type of cave? A double cave. At Ma'arat HaMachpelah. Machpelah from the word? Kaful. Double. Asher lo. It's his. Where is it? Asher b'ktzei sadeu. It's at the end of his field. He has a field in Hebron proper, in the valley. And at the end of the field, he has a burial. A family burial area belongs to him. Bechesef maleh, for full money. Let him give it to me. B'tochachem, as what? Lachuzat kaver. I want a permanent place for eternity, for my descendants and their descendants for on. Until now, Avram Avinu is making full efforts. Not only does he know that God promised it for him, he wants to go out and be like a real politician. He wants to go out and use the practical, pragmatic ways, John Dewey, pragmatism, in order to acquire with full money. Come on, doesn't Avram Avinu know the Jewish way? If you can get something as a discount or for free, get it as a freebie. Why is Avram interested in paying full money? Come on, they're offering him right for free before he speaks to Ephron. Ephron says to him, now the meaning's made. Pasuk Yud, Ve'Ephron yoshev b'toch b'nechei, he sits amongst the townspeople. Vayan Avron achiti Avram be'oznei v'nechei. There's no secrets here. Everyone is watching. The townspeople are there. Everyone has come together already for a burial. They're going around with a megaphone. Today, this afternoon, the burial of Sarah Imenu, the prominent wife of, the distinguished wife of Avram Avinu's. Everyone left their houses. They left their work. Everyone's gathering, waiting for a burial. He speaks now in front of everyone. It's public opinion. It's public knowledge. In front of the Oznayim. Here, Oznaim, and next pasuk you see Einayim. All of the Masa Umatan, the negotiation happening, is in front of everyone. Ephron answers Avram and says, L'chol Beishari Role more, and so on and so forth. But our time is up, and we'll continue. Same time, same place.